Hey there. Reading is important. That's not a controversial thing to say, but I don't think we focus enough on just how important mass literacy has been to the development of the modern world. Last time, I talked about how Europe's Protestant Reformation inadvertently created the space for mass literacy. Today, I'd like to talk more about literacy, the ability to read and write, and why that is so important. There are good arguments that other things are more important to development. Modern life wouldn't be possible without the Industrial Revolution of the 1700s and 1800s. But it's worth mentioning that many of the engineers that built the steam engines of the Industrial Revolution were from Scotland. They were the product of a century or two of literacy promotion by the Scottish Reformed Church. Literacy developed slowly at the beginning. Just because people in certain countries were required to read the Bible didn't necessarily mean they knew how to write. As recently as the mid-1800s, it's estimated that only something around 10% of the world population had any reading skills at all. The mostly literate countries of Northern Europe and North America had a tremendous head start, and they used it to take over the world. That dominance is now fading very quickly. I think that has a lot to do with literacy as well. In the 19th century, mass schooling slowly spread across Southern and Eastern Europe. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the rest of the world caught up very quickly. The development of a culture of mass literacy took centuries in Protestant Europe. Most of the rest of the world has built one in less than 100 years. The effects of this can already be seen in the distribution of power worldwide. On almost any measure, the United States is dramatically more powerful than the British Empire ever was. And historically, we haven't really had much in the way of competition. But since the late 19th century, we haven't been able to take and hold any new territory. We like to tell ourselves that's because a U.S. empire is a better kind of empire, but tell that to the Mexicans or the Filipinos. I think this difference comes down to the fact that the British were dealing with largely pre-literate populations. For a peasant circa 1750 who couldn't read, the British rulers were just a new set of gangster overlords. They kicked out the old thugs. Whatever. Same as it ever was. In the 20th and 21st centuries, though, the people of Vietnam or Iraq had a very different picture of what was happening. Literacy provided a mass culture, a positive form of nationalism, and the sense that they had the right to run their own country. Literacy allows people to beat imperial aggressors on their own terms. The survival of movements for Tibetan and Uyghur independence from China probably has a lot to do with this dynamic as well. Literacy brings freedom, and so much more. We're only at the beginning of this process. Many countries are just a few decades into the era of mass literacy. The world is about to get even better. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we've only got a few days left to save this channel, the More Freedom Foundation. Please consider clicking on the Patreon link here to chip into my crowdfunding thing. Thanks.